Hello, this is Right Side Trader. Today is April 25th, 2025, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the S&P 500, that's SPY, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading. So please check with your financial advisor, please check with your significant other, and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's jump over here to these charts and see what we see. And I'll maximize this quarterly chart. Boom. Still got red on here. It still didn't cross the pivot on the SPY. The Nasdaq was still under the pivot. So I do kind of like see this thing is pushing up and going to want to go higher. But we got a doji right, with a close underneath pivot. Again, we started out the year above pivot. I do expect us to actually recover at some time this year and actually get back to as bullish ways. Maybe that's just my hopeful thinking. But we have to just, what we see right now, we have had a pretty good push back up. We are trading right around pivot come next week to see if we can actually get where this market is going to be above pivot and then start looking to get out of this bear market. And let's go down to the monthly chart and see what we see. On the monthly chart, we are still below the 9-10 moving average, so technically we are still in a bear market. On this here also, on these quarterly pivots, we are still below pivot. But we have had a very strong pushback to the upside. So we just kind of gonna wait and see what's happening. Is this is going to continue to go in this direction? And will we cross pivot come this quarter? But let's go down to the weekly chart and see what we see there. On the weekly chart, this is where all the stuff is happening at right now. What looks very good for the bulls right now. We have a bullish engulfing in the right location. I think it's close enough for me. And all near this bottom after this kind of like piercing pattern that we had here with this red candle here, and where it didn't go down too deep into this candle with that close. And then this, I was saying that we needed to have a little bit of a gap up to get up above this high, and look like this week we did a close above that previous week high that we needed to close above. Now with a bullish pattern, but we are still below pivot. So we got to see what's going to happen this last week. We may come next week, we may not get our close above pivot and all. Again, and also we'll be trying to get a close above this area in the 50 moving average where it had consolidated it a little bit before it actually dropped. So that this is going to give us a little bit of a problem come next week. But come next month, since we will be opening above pivot, I do see us going higher and maybe getting above this stuff come May. This is April. Yeah, I'm talking May. We only a week, less than a week away, so that's not that far away. So that's why I'm saying that, and I don't mind saying that at this time. But let's go ahead and go down to the daily chart and see what we see there. Let me switch here and go down to the daily chart. See, on this daily chart, I want to go back at least to there, because this is the significant high that I think we're going to have to break in this market, is this getting up here and breaking in this range here. Right now, this past week, what has happened, and I was saying last week at the end of the week, I was saying we needed to gap up and get above pivot. It didn't happen until Wednesday. We got the gap up and got above pivot and start running higher. And this is what I was expecting. But again, I'm always early to the party, and then early there, early out. That's the whole thing. But again, we are running in the right direction. Come next week, we will be opening above pivot. So again, I do see us coming up to this area and maybe going to run into a little bit of headwind, and we're going to have to see what happens there. So right now, we are on cue to go a little bit higher. We have actually, if you're looking at this, we kind of like got some higher lows, and we did break this high and all here that we needed to break. I think we are above that. So we got to kind of like wait and see what's going to happen next week. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll chat with you next week. Right Side Trader here. Thank you, new subscribers. Please subscribe, like, share. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.